Thank you for joining us. Some breaking news today out of Capitol Hill. The longest-serving female senator, Dianne Feinstein, has died. This afternoon, the chair she sat in for decades in the Senate is draped in black as flags fly at half-staff. NBC's Andrea Mitchell has more on her life and legacy.
Dianne Feinstein, a leading woman senator for generations, whose political career in California was launched by tragedy. November 1978. San Francisco Mayor George Moscone and Board of Supervisors member Harvey Milk were assassinated in City Hall. Then Board of Supervisors President Dianne Feinstein tried desperately to save Milk's life.
Both Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk have been shot and killed.
The event cementing her passion for gun reform. She was elected mayor and became a national figure on Democratic nominee Walter Mondale's shortlist for running mate before he chose Geraldine Ferraro.
I've had an opportunity now to be the first woman and the first mayor to be asked to go through an interview process. And I view that as a major opening of a door and something that's very important to do.
It was the Clarence Thomas hearings before an all-male Senate Judiciary Committee in 1991 that got Feinstein to the Senate, as she recalled in 2018.
And what did I see but an all-male Senate Judiciary Committee grilling Anita Hill? And it was not nice, and it was not what one would like to see. And that was my incentive to run in 1992.
After her decisive Senate win, then-Senator Joe Biden made her the first woman on the Judiciary Committee. In Congress, she quickly made an impact, leading the charge for an assault weapons ban in 1994. As Senate Intelligence Chair, she took on the CIA's waterboarding of prisoners, holding hearings into the Bush administration's harsh interrogation techniques. But in later years, colleagues faltered her performance during Supreme Court confirmations, praising Republican Lindsey Graham for getting Trump nominee Amy Coney Barrett confirmed just weeks before the 2020 election.
This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in.
But through political and personal trials, Dianne Feinstein's legacy as a trailblazer endures. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
New this afternoon, a Maple Grove family is okay after lightning struck their home and started a fire. Shortly before 7 o'clock this morning, firefighters were called to that home near Fish Lake Road and Hemlock Lane. The Maple Grove fire chief says the fire started on the outside of the home and they were able to stop it before the flames got inside. Well, our hopes for a sunny day may have to wait a little bit longer. Ben, what can we expect for the rest of our Friday?
Well, additional thunderstorms are forecast to develop, and I will say the storms this morning, certainly not what we expected. We thought there were going to be some isolated pockets of storms, and certainly northwestern Minnesota getting hit with some heavy storms, but not necessarily around the Twin Cities metro. Cough it up to an overachieving low-level jet, which did spark some heavy thunderstorms this morning that are still going across parts of western Wisconsin and northern Minnesota. Now, around the metro, we are seeing some sun breaks, and we do expect a bit more sunshine as the afternoon goes on, as the storms, at least for now, move away from us. You can see they're still going into parts of western Wisconsin. However, we do expect additional opportunities for some showers and storms, especially across central Minnesota later this afternoon, and for the Twin Cities overnight tonight. 64 degrees right now. Here's a look at the next 12 hours, and notice temperatures will bump up rather quickly as that sun does come out, feeling like late summer, we'll say. And then notice after dark tonight some additional thunderstorm opportunities. We'll talk more about those storm chances and get you ready for those 80s, which are still in the forecast, Rena, for this weekend coming up.
All right, thank you, Ben. And of course, make sure to download the KARE 11 weather app. You can get personalized forecasts, weather alerts, and check the live radar anytime. It is free, of course, in any app store. Taking a live look at the Capitol, where today we are less than 48 hours away from a deadline on a spending plan. If Congress cannot get one passed, it means a government shutdown will start at 12:01 a.m. Sunday. Today, the White House is preparing for that to happen. Senior staffers are learning how to do the jobs of employees that will likely be furloughed. Last night, the House passed several spending bills, but none of them pushed back the deadline. Experts say it does not look like the House has the votes to come to a deal. In Minnesota, Governor Walz says we do have some protections in place. Block grants will continue to fund state programs in the short term, but a longer shutdown could create some issues. The governor's asking state agencies to provide regular updates to people who rely on services that will be impacted by a shutdown. He's also requesting top officials look into the legal action that the state can take to make sure that Minnesota does eventually get reimbursed. Within the last 2 hours, the United Auto Workers Union has announced another expansion to its strike. Today marks 2 weeks since the strike began. Now the UAW is calling on 7,000 more workers to walk off the job at a Ford plant in Chicago and a General Motors plant in Lansing, Michigan. The union's president says the day's negotiations have not broken down, but they aren't seeing significant progress with the two car makers. This round of expansions does not include anyone working at Stellantis plants. Right now, school resource officers are back on the job in White Bear Lake schools, and overnight we also learned that Eagan police are reinstating their SRO program. It comes as debate continues over the newest law impacting those officers. Here's Lou Raguse.
Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty disagrees with Attorney General Keith Ellison's interpretation of a new law affecting school resource officers. In an email she sent to police chiefs in Hennepin County, Moriarty explains she doesn't believe school resource officers can use reasonable force unless death or bodily harm are imminent. Ellison believes SROs, like any other police officer, can use reasonable force as needed to fulfill their duties. The local chiefs asked for Moriarty's interpretation before sending SROs back to schools because she has the power to prosecute SROs if she thinks they violate the new law.
Well, this weekend, millions of Americans will start making payments on student loan debt. Sunday marks the first month of payments in 3 years. Data shows the average American borrower owes about $37,000 in student debt. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says 1 in 5 people with student loans are likely to struggle once those payments resume. If you're a homeowner in St. Paul, you could see a change in your taxes next year. Within the last 24 hours, Mayor Melvin Carter signed a resolution raising the maximum property tax levy for the city. That means in 2024, the total amount the city can collect in property taxes is now more than $208 million. It is a 3.7% increase. But here's where homeowners might actually luck out. Commercial property values are currently rising faster than homes. And because of that, the city could hit the limit through those taxes more quickly, and then home taxes might actually decrease. Well, just a few hours ago, St. Paul City leaders broke ground on a new fire station. It's on the corner of Ross Avenue and Earl Street on the east side. It will replace a nearly 100-year-old station, which means, of course, plenty of upgrades, including better sleeping quarters for fire crews and a community room for public education and outreach. St. Paul Fire Chief Butch Inks says other changes will lead to better response times. Well, before you hit the starting line at the race this weekend, you need to pick up your race packet, one of the most crucial steps of the Twin Cities Marathon happening right now. Up next, what you need to know about packet pickup before all the races start tomorrow. Plus, a warning for new parents, the details behind a call to get rid of what experts are calling a very dangerous baby rocker.